How German is Helen, Georgia? Let's find out. We're going to be evaluating Helen's Germanness today on a few different categories. Number one, we're going to be looking at the architecture. What do the buildings look like? Do they look German? What looks German about them? Number two, we're going to be having some cuisine, tasting the food. Is there German food here? How good is it? Is it authentic? We're also going to be looking to see if there are souvenirs that you would find in Germany in like souvenir shops. We're going to be looking at the culture. Are there German people here? Does anyone speak German? What kind of events do they have? Are they German festivals?
Is there local art? What about the music? I mean, right now you can hear in the background some country music, which is not German at all.
So our first impression driving into town is that you can really tell this is an American mountain town, but to me it feels like it has a German costume or like German makeup on. I'll be interested to walk around town and explore and see if we can find little pockets of what feels like more true Germanness. So to adhere to the look of the town, it's actually legally mandated that the buildings have this German decor, this look to them. So that's why you'll see like there's a Huddle House, there's a Wendy's, there's some hotel brands like a Quality Inn, and all of those buildings still have that look to them. And it's because it's actually required by law for them to have that design.
I would say definitely in this building specifically, this like color, the shade of yellow, is definitely what you would see in Germany in a random town or village. Not a big city, but a village. There's no shortage of restrooms in Helen. A lot of them are by the parking lots. I will say that it's difficult to find parking, free parking in Helen.
We got here this morning around 9:30. We paid for parking, but there was unpaid parking available. It just wasn't where we wanted it. There are places you can park without having to pay, but I think you have to get here early.
And I think the average is $5 to $10 to park for the whole day.
I think $10 is the most average. Now, you may be asking yourself, what is this German-inspired town doing here in North Georgia? And I've heard a couple different versions of exactly how it happened, but I think the gist of it is this town was originally founded for the logging industry. It was also, I think, involved in the mining industry back in the early 1900s. It was built along a former Native American route that was called the Unicoi Turnpike, and they now have the Unicoi Park over here.
Not to be mistaken as unicorn.
No, every time we see it, we think it says unicorn. Under some circumstance of events, a group of people got together and decided to redress the town. I've heard that it was people that had been in the war and had been stationed in Germany, and they really loved Bavaria and missed it, so they wanted to design and theme the town around that area. In any case, a group of people got together to basically theme the town, and after that it became a tourist destination, and even today it's one of the top tourist destinations in Georgia.
I think also when you're looking at articles of like, oh, where are the German towns in the US, Helen, Georgia is always like number 1 or 2. So right in the middle of town is a very famous river. It's called the Chattahoochee, made famous by Alan Jackson.
That's the only thing it's famous for.
But a lot of people go tubing. Look, there's even a dog down there in a tube. See it?
Way down yonder on the Chattahoochee.
Well, way down yonder on the Chattahoochee, it gets hotter than a hoochie coochie.
Look at that dog. That poor dog.
So we tried to go get breakfast at Hoffer's, but we didn't realize breakfast ended at a certain time and we missed it. So we're now having lunch, but I got some chicken schnitzel, some spätzle, and then Brian got a bratwurst with some sauerkraut and German potato salad. This will be our second schnitzel in Helen, so I'm curious to compare schnitzels. So I ordered some gravy on the side, some Jaeger gravy. It's got mushrooms in it. It smells really good. Let's try the schnitzel. I think it tastes like a lot like the one we had last night, kind of like homemade. It's more crispy though. It's got good flavor.
So we finished lunch at Bodensee,
Yes.
which Bodensee is named after a lake on the border of Switzerland in Germany and Austria. What did you think of the food?
I thought the food was good. It was not as good as last night. The first bite of my schnitzel was good, but then I realized the underside was kind of burnt. The more I ate it, the kind of like drier and chewier it got. The flavor was good though, and the gravy, the Jaeger gravy was delicious. And the spätzle, I think the spätzle that we had last night was a bit better, and that was at Hofbrau. This one was a little more like, I think it had been overboiled just a little bit. Last night's food was better. How was your bratwurst? Was it good?
It was really good. Lots of flavor. It was crispy when you cut it. Yeah.
On the outside.
And then that potato salad, the German potato salad, I think this had it beat over last night.
Yeah, I liked the potato salad here.
And the sauerkraut was made with pork, so it had a very porky flavor. Authentic-wise, do you think that this was pretty authentic?
I do think that both restaurants we've been to have been pretty authentic to a restaurant in Germany. I think the quality's been good. The way the food was prepared seemed very authentic.
Yeah, I think that the food feels more like you go into a mom and pop restaurant in like a little town in Germany, not like I went to a fancy restaurant in Berlin.
Yeah.
It does have that so far for authenticity. There's still more food to try.
It's one of my favorite things, so I'm glad there's more.
There's a lot of food to try here.
Brian, did you see? This is Lord Pretzel. The Mouse King. Do you think he uses the pretzel like a boomerang? Just like...
Well, if you look at his tail is shaped like a pretzel too.
It is.
This girl's about to go backwards. Oh. I'm excited to see this horde of people about to go down into the rapids. So you definitely do get wet, but it looks like they have workers in the river too.
Yeah, they do. We're giving the bakery another shot, not for breakfast, but for bakery items.
What type of goodies did we get?
So many goodies. We got a cherry Danish, a German chocolate cheesecake cup, and then a Sacher Torte, which is some type of chocolate cake with like apricot and chocolate mousse and chocolate and chocolate. So I got that mostly for me. And we also got some cups of water because it is so hot today. I will try the torte. Let's see. Very soft. Ooh. Wow. The top, the like ganache stuff on top is like sugary, grainy. It's not super sweet, which I like, very light, and got a good mix of chocolate and fruit flavor, which sometimes I don't like, but I like it in this context. So I approve.
So I got the Black Forest chocolate cheesecake cup. It's a cup. It's got massive cherry on top, nice and cold. Hopefully it's refreshing. It's a very dense cheesecake. It's good. It's very rich, very, very rich. Now these are very, very German. Especially like the Christmas carousel things right here.
This is an import store, so everything here is imported from Germany and is authentic.
I think that if you are looking to buy an Alpine hat or a German hat, this is the place to get it. The other shops in town have hats, but they might be like knockoffs. These like officially have real sizes on them. And I feel like these are probably handmade.
Yeah, and this is a different tag than the other hats that we found, so.
I mean, it's in German.
Yeah.
You can buy baby steins, too.
You can.
Because steins can be very expensive.
This is $11.99 for a little babe.
And I would say that you can definitely find little steins like this in Germany, especially that one. And I find it interesting because just like in Solvang, they just put little stickers that say Helen, Georgia to identify the area rather than like making specific things. So it's quite possible that these were actually in Germany first.
Nope, made in China.
Made in China.
Yeah, so not everything in here is imported, but a lot of things are.
But here's a stein that's specifically...
It's actually painted on. It's not a sticker.
Specifically Helen, Georgia too. Little baby. That's cute.
Got an H on it. Just keeps going.
Cute.
Brian, it's Santa Claus.
So something that's very German is Christmas shops.
Yes, all year round.
All year round. And just like I said in Solvang, it's important to go inside these Christmas shops to experience a little bit of culture.
We have found a Christmas pickle. Now, I know some German people have never heard of the Christmas pickle, but other German people have. So we're not quite sure what the origin is, but we bought our Christmas pickle in Germany. So you hide it in the tree and then somebody finds it and then...
They get to open a gift early.
Oh, they get to open a gift early, okay.
The German Christmas pickle.
German Christmas pickle.
I know it's not German, but I am a fan of the Grinch.
Just the hat covering one eye is hilarious. He's the only one I see like that.
Aubrey picked up a gift.
I did. It's not German, but...
It was really interesting talking to the shop owner because she was a retired teacher.
You're a teacher.
Thank you for your service. She was saying that the 3 houses on the block were actually Sears catalog houses.
Yeah, so her house, which is the Christmas shop, the one to the left and the one to the right, were Sears catalog houses. I guess they sold houses in the Sears catalog. But she also said that during the time of the logging industry in this town, that these 3 houses were where the managers for the logging industry lived.
She also said that before the logging industry, that this was a gold city
which I knew that the gold trade had come through here, but she said that they actually found more gold here than in California. And I think the only place in the country where they found more gold was the Yukon, but this is like the place where they found the second most gold. And in Atlanta, there's a dome on top of the Capitol building, and it's made out of real gold, and the gold came from here. So that was really cool to hear about. You know, we're kind of going around, we're looking for, are there real authentic German souvenirs here, you know? And she said that it used to be like back in the times before the internet. Can you believe the internet used to not exist? You could either go to that country or come here to get products from Germany. So back a few decades ago, they did have a lot of authentic German products. But of course, now that the internet exists, you can just go buy stuff online, or that's one of the reasons that the town is kind of transformed into more of a tourist, Gatlinburg-y, like normal kind of souvenirs place. I mean, we have still found several things that are imported. There's like small sections of the stores that have items that are imported from Germany or specifically German branded.
She said that the most authentic German stuff that we would see is the restaurants.
Yeah, which we've had too, and they've been really good. She recommends Bodense and Mueller's fried cheese, which we haven't eaten there yet, but apparently they don't just have fried cheese, and it's a Ukrainian restaurant, so it's all Eastern European cuisine, including Germany.
So I found in the Heritage and Arts Museum a Welcome to Helen Alpine Village record, Edelweiss Singers, which was a group of women from the Helen area singing Alpine German music. It looks like it was recorded, it's probably like right when it started in the 70s. So I think it's really cool that you can actually purchase this record. There's a couple of them. Over here they have the old Oktoberfest memorabilia from the town. Helen has one of the longest Oktoberfests in the country, spanning from the beginning of September to the end of October, which in Germany, Oktoberfest is only a couple of weeks.
It's really cool learning about how exactly the town came to be this way, because the whole town is a work of art based on the drawings and ideas and renderings of this guy, John Collick. You know, you may come here thinking, oh, well, this is like an imitation of Germany or whatnot. That's kind of what I came into today looking at, is like, how does this relate and reflect to Germany? But it's really cool to find out, yeah, the whole town is a work of art. He had studied set design in college, so it's like he made the whole town a set. We just visited the Helen Arts and Heritage Center, and I would highly recommend stopping by here when you're visiting Helen. There's a video that's about 8 minutes long about the history of Helen and how it became what it is today. There's also a little museum inside that is attributed to the artist that helped this town come to life back in the 60s and 70s. And there's a whole gift shop art gallery of local artists who have their artwork on display. So there was pottery, paintings, jewelry, you know, all kinds of artisanal things that an artist would create. In the museum, they had original sketches from the artist that came up with the designs for the town. So that was really cool to see kind of his original ideas.
This version of Helen is not that old.
Yeah.
Here is our review of the architecture here in Helen, Georgia. Now, I think Aubrey said this earlier, that there is a mandate that the buildings had to be Alpine themed. And so some of the buildings are actually yellowish taupe color, that you would definitely see in a, not just Bavarian, you would see it in a German town. So I would say that that's pretty authentic. Some of the rooftops, I would say would be a cross between German and Swiss, which again, if you're talking about Alpine, you're talking about Bavaria, it's on the border of Switzerland, that makes sense. There's a building behind me that uses signature German lettering that you would see on the side of buildings in Germany too. Is the building architecture like Germany? I would say kind of, and I know that that is intentional because of the history of the town. It was built or designed by a set designer, and it was based on his interests of Germany, of Bavaria. So he kind of cosplayed the town to look like Germany.
So my description when we first arrived, that it was like an American mountain town wearing a German costume, that's literally, it is.
That's exactly what it is.
The town existed beforehand. It was just a normal town. The community came together to dress it up, and they enlisted this artist's help. It's really, really cool, I think, how, like I said before, the whole town is just a work of art. There's so much hand-painted stuff. I think that the people of the town did all the woodwork and everything too, and they cared about their community that much that they wanted to make it a place for people to visit.
Oh no, the Cybertruck, it's gonna rust, it's starting to rain. What is it gonna do?
There's a car coming.
I bet it's heavy too. It's massive. This man's gonna beat the child. Oh, there he goes. That's hilarious.
It's a broom, so.
He's still gonna beat him. I guess he stole the chicken. And you can look at the watermill over there is moving too. Oh no, he's stuck in the doorway. What will he do? Oh, and there's the people over there dancing too. Over at the fest hall, they have the little carousel thing to do that in real life.
Oh.
It's incredible how many things that you can make the cuckoo do. We went over to the Black Forest Cuckoo Clock shop.
Bavarian Clockworks, I believe is the name.
And this was a recommendation from the Christmas shop owner. And she was like, oh, you gotta check this out if you wanna see real German things in town. Everything in here is absolutely gorgeous. And of course, since it's real cuckoo clocks that are imported from Germany, they're gonna be more expensive. The most expensive one was what, $22,000?
$22,000. It was like a grandfather cuckoo clock, yeah.
But it had such a deep resonance. All those clocks are gorgeous in there. And some of them do hilarious things. And it's just so cool to see how many variations of cuckoo clocks you can make, and the artistry with it. And I know like when we bought our own cuckoo clock, not here, but we bought one in Germany, just how much we cherish it because of the artistry of it.
So I'm glad that this shop is here, and it's definitely worth a peruse around just to see all the clocks and hear them go off too. So check it out. Also, they do work with a person that will repair cuckoo clocks. So if you have one that's in need of repair, you can contact this shop and they'll hook you up.
So Helen is situated in the Blue Ridge Mountains, which is just a little bit south of the Smoky Mountains. And you can see why they call it the Smoky Mountains, because you can see the low-lying clouds just below the mountain ridge. It's truly beautiful. So we are having dinner at the Heidelberg, which is the big restaurant in the most iconic square here in Helen, Georgia. I ordered the traditional schnitzel with red cabbage and spätzle, just like I did last night at the Hofbrauhaus. I opted to have Hofbrau Hefeweizen today, which is refreshing for the hot day that we just had. And Aubrey got a schnitzel that's like cordon bleu or something. Now, something to note about the schnitzel that we've had. The first schnitzel that I had on this trip was veal. The second schnitzel that we had was chicken. And this one tonight is pork. So all different variations of schnitzel. You'll see that the breading's probably going to be different. We'll have to tell you which restaurant we think is the best or the most authentic to German cuisine. Look at this beaut, so wonderful. Got that red cabbage and the spätzle. And because I'm extra, I had to get a whole lemon to myself.
We have a surprise. So we went to the glass blowing shop here in town, and they have these mystery boxes. So they're all different prices, and they're anywhere from 50 to 70% off of their original price. And it's just like the overstock that they have during the slow season that they want to kind of move, make room for their new stuff. So we're going to open our mystery box and see what glass creation we have received. Again, we paid $22.50 for this, so I'm excited to see what kind of thing we got here. So, oh, it's in styrofoam. Okay, okay. It's got a little bit of weight to it. You ready to see what it is? Long gone. Something that let me put it together. Let's see. It's birds, number one, which I love. I love birds. It's a little group of birdies. They're on a frosted glass tree. I love this. I think it's cute. I wish it had a little more color, but it'll look nice on a windowsill in the sun with the light shining through. What do you think, Brian?
It's like Snow White.
Brian was hoping for a sea creature. I was hoping for a dragon, a sea creature, or birds. I said birds.
Yeah.
So,
well, birds are appropriate because Snow White is also German, so.
There you go. We got some Snow White birds.
So the only way to go into the fest hall this week was to play bingo. So we're playing bingo like old people. So what do you think of bingo? I know that we have this in Florida, but
It's fun. It's like a gambling puzzle game, but we didn't know at first that there's a pattern on the screen that your bingo card is supposed to match.
we're noobs.
So Brian got like your traditional bingo and was like, bingo! And then it wasn't a bingo, but at least 3 other people did that too.
It's for cash prizes. too.
Yeah.
Money.
And this like 10-year-old kid just got a bingo. Can you tell I got sunburnt?
It's also hot in here.
Yeah.
So bingo is offered in the fest hall. And the fest hall is where they have Oktoberfest, they have the Christmas market and other like festival things. They also have bingo here on Tuesdays and Fridays during most of the year, I think. But I think it's a $12 cover, and
Yes.
we got super close several times.
A couple times.
I just wanted the money.
This was Brian's one that he just needed this one.
Just one.
Here's one of mine where I just needed these 2.
But this one was worth $750. We could have been millionaires.
He also.
Only 2. Bingo is all over Florida, which we've never done.
I think it's all over the country.
And it's usually like associated with old people.
This wasn't old people. Yeah,
Like
there's
bunch-
a good mix of people here.
And also like, I say old people because like my grandfather played it when he was a snowbird down in Florida. And supposedly he won like almost every time.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't understand how after playing this.
Maybe it's how you'll just find money on the ground.
Maybe.
Found like $100 on the ground, multiple times.
I mean, over a period of time. This was a lot of fun.
And we got to sit.
And then we got to see the fest hall. Now,
Yeah.
during Oktoberfest, I can assume that it's so hot and loud in here.
Yeah.
So be prepared for that if you
Yeah.
are coming here for Oktoberfest.
It's really not that big if you have like that many tourists here. I'm sure it goes outside too.
Just across the street, a little Black Forest chapel where you can get married.
It reminds me of a Norwegian kirke. I said to Brian yesterday I would get married there. It's so cute.
But we're already married.
Yeah, but we can get married again. It's just another party. What do you say?
I guess so.
So, Brian, we set out today to evaluate the Germanness of Helen, Georgia. And I think along the way we discovered that's not how you should really think about this place. You know, we're not in Germany. How German is it?
Well, let's go off of the criteria. So,
Number one.
Food. I think the food is probably the most authentic German thing here.
Yeah, food was great. We ate at 3 restaurants while we were here. Number 1 was Hofbrau. Number 2 was Bodensee. And number 3 was Heidelberg.
I think they have pros and cons to all 3. If you're wanting a more home-cooked, small town, small village German experience, go to Hofbrau. If you want a solid, really good German food, go to Heidelberg. If you want more of a like upscale and they had good brats, then I would go to Bodensee.
I think Bodensee also was a little like quieter, like a little...
Because it's not on the main path.
Yeah, it was off to the side a little bit. The moral of the story is, wherever you go to get German food here, it's going to be good. And our waitress at the restaurant at Hofbrau grew up eating homemade German food and studied German in college, so she had some German connections.
And she spoke German.
She spoke German. And while we were at Bodensee, there was a German lady there, or someone that was originally from Germany. She worked for the restaurant in some capacity. I don't know who she was, but she was talking to some patrons about where she was from in Germany. So
there's sprinkles.
German here, you know?
Yeah.
Some authentic German people and culture and language and stuff.
Second criteria was architecture, which I think you hit it right in the head. Actually, the true reason for saying that it's like cosplay is that it actually was intended that way.
Yeah, it literally is.
The founders of the new style of Helen were trying to create a set. He was a set designer, and so they superimposed German on top of the current buildings. So it's what Americans try to make Germany look like. Is there accuracies with it? There's some.
Yeah, and also, so much of the woodwork and the painting and everything, it's all done by hand. So even if you're not like, oh, this isn't an exact replica of Germany, it was very lovingly, carefully crafted by the people of this town. And I really appreciate that and just think that's really special.
But now it's the 3rd most visited town in Georgia. And so it's gotten a little commercialized, which leads into the next thing, which is German-specific souvenirs. I would say that there's a huge lack of that. And some of the locals said, well, that's because of the internet. People can just buy things on the internet. And so a lot of things that you'll see in the shops are like tacky souvenirs that you would see in things like Panama City or Gatlinburg or Pigeon Forge. And it's like, I don't want that.
And there were little pockets of authentic German souvenirs like cuckoo clocks and other kind of like woodworked products.
Wooden toys. The Black Forest Cuckoo Shop was awesome.
It was really cool.
You can buy steins. There's a hat shop here, but I don't know if I necessarily think that the hat shop has authentic German hats. I think I would go to the import store first.
Yeah.
Can't buy Lederhosen or dirndls here unless they sell them during Oktoberfest. Who knows? So I think there's a huge lack of German souvenirs here. I think there's a ton of culture here, but we only know that because we went to the Heritage and Culture Center. And so we got to learn about the history of the town. Now, if we didn't do that and we just walked around, we'd be like, wow, this is a tacky knockoff. Instead of actually being like, oh, they actually crafted things on top of the buildings, and there is a sister city to Germany here, and there is connections. There's just not necessarily like
didn't
German heritage.
originate. Yeah, it didn't originate that way, but there are little connections here and there. And again, the food was great. So they're obviously doing something right.
The artwork is also beautiful, like on the murals on the buildings that are hand painted. Music wise, there's not a lot of German music being played here either, but I think that's the clientele. So I bet that will change in Oktoberfest.
Yeah. The town used to be a lot more German culture centered than it is now. And yeah, it's changed a lot in the last, 20, 30 years probably.
So is Helen German?
How German is Helen?
I would say less than 50%.
I would say it's kind of irrelevant, I think it's a fun place to come. I think there's a lot of things to do, especially for families. There's an alpine roller coaster, there's mini golf, there's axe throwing, there's shopping,
there's waterfalls.
Food. Yeah, it's surrounded by nature and trails and parks. There's tons of places to stay. Granted, they were a little pricey, depends on the time of year. You can go tubing, there's water activities.
On the Chattahoochee.
On the Chattahoochee. Lots of little places to get ice cream and sweet treats and stuff like that.
It's a very family-friendly town.
Yeah.
There's at least 2 more German-specific towns in the U.S. that people say, this is Germany. And Helen is usually on that list too, so I don't know the validity of it. But one is Fredericksburg, Texas, which I know has German heritage, but haven't been there, and it's Texas, so don't know what. I mean, it's hot. The other one is in Washington. It's Leavenworth. Also supposed to be an alpine town. So if you've been to one of those, drop it in the comments. Tell us if it's any different than Helen, if it's more German.
You've been to all 3. What do you think? Compare. Bottom line is, I think it's a fun place to come visit. I think there's a lot of stuff to do. The food's good. It's an enjoyable weekend trip. Yeah, I would come back and I would recommend visiting. We have also done 2 other videos about traveling to other countries without leaving the U.S. One of them was in Tarpon Springs, Florida, which is has a lot of Greek culture. And the other one was
Strolling,
California, which has Dutch-inspired. So if that's something that interests you, we will link those videos below or above.
So
drop us a like, drop us a comment, click that subscribe button, turn on the bell notification if you want, do it. It's helpful for us. And we will see you in the next one. Bye. He's a big boy. Do I need to use my hands?
Oh no. It's so.
Are you still recording? That's Pretzel. Gotta hit play.
Well, way down yonder on the Chattahoochee.
Look at this bear. He's not wearing any pants.
Is he Pooh Bear?